Sonic X Comic Issue 38. Wow, there's a lot of worthless padding in this issue. The beginning is nothing but human villains I don't care about arguing. Anyways, eventually Sonic does show up when we see him distracted by Eggman's spider mecha. The biologist guy tries to fire darts at Sonic, and Sonic destroys the spider limbs of the mecha, forcing Eggman to get away. Hector chases Sonic with a motorcycle. It is interesting to see Sam Speed interpreted as a villain, but at that point I would much rather see an evil twin of Sam Speed. This guy comes out of nowhere. He chases Sonic, but Sonic should have long since left him completely in the dust, but somehow they all catch up to him. Only for the dart to miss, and then they drive off the edge onto the roofs of several cars. Finally, Sonic acknowledges their existence after that pointless attempt at comedy relief. Pretty soon they lose him, and they waste time arguing again. They don't even have a good dynamic! I'm sure they would be interesting if I saw them in the anime. I mean, I would love to see villains other than Eggman. Scratch and Grounder were just as incompetent, but at least they got actual charm, because their designs didn't suck. And they had a reason to be evil because they were programmed by Eggman. These are just regular humans, and some of their backstories are just forced as hell. Sonic goes to visit the Chaotix, who are napping, and Sonic hires them to figure out what the Organizer Club is up to. Narusu, of course, fails to hit Sonic with a dart because he's not allowed to be useful even once, and instead it gets deflected just in time. Oh good, at least one person got hit with the mutagen, because Vector turned into a monster. I was worried that the Organizer Club would never be taken seriously. They were kind of taken seriously when they told Sonic who they were, but then he just broke out really easily. I love that Sonic got really mad at Narusu and grabbed him, saying that someone could have gotten hurt. So Vector turns into a giant, just like in RG Sonic, and the story ends with calling him Vectorzilla. Why didn't this just happen at the start of the issue instead of wasting all that comic space on worthless, unfunny filler? This issue is by Ian Flynn. How many of the terrible issues in this comic have been by Flynn? Probably most of them. I want to count that now. Though the comic started being terrible slightly before he showed up. Again, I wouldn't be as apathetic to these human villains if they had been properly introduced in the comic. But even then, their designs are boring. Some of their backstories are forced, so they wouldn't be good characters anyways. And they've all got the same personality. Immature jerkwads who hate Sonic for their own failures. There's no charm in a character like that. Even if it's good that they're not Eggman for once. Gladly, hell, I think it'd be nice if at least half of the issues in Sonic X had them as the villains, because that'd be much more interesting than just Eggman. But the problem is they're not usually allowed to be competent. They bumble around, failing to shoot Sonic with a monster dart because he's too fast for it, with their constant failures reminding me of Scratch and Grounder, who I really miss compared to these guys, who have no charm whatsoever to them. To be fair, they're up against Sonic. Anyone would look worthlessly incompetent when trying to go fight him. But I have no frame of reference, no standard starting point, because we don't see them go after anyone but Sonic, who they'd have a much easier time against, and they could justify it as them going after his friends to get to him. They should be antagonizing his friends instead, and then they'd be seen as much more menacing. The whole story was padding where they should have just started with Vector being turned into a giant. It was such pointless padding that the whole review consists of just 4 paragraphs. The idea of Vector being mutated into a monster was already done in Fleetway, and it's probably going to be done better there.